Lead&Feel. I couldn't wait for this episode to be published. It truly made my day and get me into those higher positive vibrations. Meet Roeland, the co-founder and director of DJ School Amsterdam. We talk about his journey to find his purpose and to pursue his inner feeling. He's also sharing his experiences in coaching other DJs to be and how important the support network of people who are dear to you is for all of us, especially in these current times. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm still having thrills when I recall this talk. Enjoy. Yes, then we are live. Hello, welcome. Good afternoon, Roland. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining and for having you here. And yeah, basically, just how are you? How are you today?
How are you?
Tell
Yeah, we
me.
just talked a little bit about it, but I think in general I'm always doing great, which is a big word, but yes, I don't think I can have much to complain about in life. But I must say this year is the first one that I actually started feeling different in a way that it's flattened my experience of life in general. So where normally everything is enthusiastic and you have these highs that actually make you feel life is worthwhile, like these moments of happiness. This year there's been less of those, and we all know what the circumstances are. But
Yes.
so I think life is a bit boring and a bit of yeah obligational this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand it. And since I'm kind of also desperate to look around for any suggestions or golden tricks, what has been keeping you alive then?
Oh
If you
yeah,
feel
that's a
low,
good
low.
one. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a coach myself, so in general, I'm very optimistic about others' possibilities. But I must say, in this year, I was always also focusing on more personal coaching outside of just the DJ and producer profession. And I did put a little hold to that because I felt I have to actually believe that what I can tell people is how I really feel and how I can handle myself. And in this case, I find it a little bit harder to say that because the circumstances are so forcing in a sense that it makes life less worthwhile that I actually put a stop to that because I couldn't sell that message that well. But
Wow.
in general, to keep surviving myself, I think it's to focus on things that are really important in life because I think what Corona might have done for some people is actually make you focus on what is important in life. And those are, to me, simple things like relationships and really sticking to your own game plan in life as to who are you, what do you want, how do you feel about things. And if you listen to yourself real well, that is the best remedy to cope with anything, including Corona in this time. So might have some positive impact for people that change their life due to Corona as to what do I really want to do and where do I want to focus on, because life is fragile as we see right now. But for me, it means okay, keep that focus there and then make the best of it. And in the beginning, it was easy because you focus on your family. It's like, oh, we're in this together, you know. And then as soon as I noticed, which I noticed pretty quickly, that it wasn't that dangerous, let me talk that way. I started protesting a little bit against all the restrictions that I thought were a little bit too much. But again, I stopped that as well because it's putting energy in something that you cannot change that much. So besides that, it's just yeah, go on with your daily business, and then hope for better weather, which means that you can actually feel oh yeah, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
life is becoming better again.
Yeah, probably would sound very Dutch, but like when I saw snow, hail, rain, everything all together last Monday, I just wanted to like, what the hell, like,
Yes.
can it go worse?
No, that was the all-time low, I think.
Yes.
But I was happy that before that it was good weather, and normally I would go outside and go fishing and put everything in my garden so that it's ready for summer. But I did not do that because I thought, no, it can't be that soon. So there's going to be a drawback, and it's here now. So I was really happy not to be too optimistic
Yeah,
because we have to start over again.
yeah, true, true. Oh, Jesus, yes. Yeah, I think yeah, it's just I think all of us in it all together indeed. So yeah, I think what triggered me and what intrigued me, Roland, was what you mentioned that you are a coach and then you want to preach. Like you want to live what you preach, but then at some
Yeah,
point you said like, "Hey, I don't believe it. Like I don't want to just sell some fake shit to people."
no, no.
And so I think it's a really, really beautiful way to just to also check with yourself what I actually what I say, it's still what I believe in. Because
Yeah,
then people will
yeah,
sense it, right? People
yeah,
sense the fakeness. And
yeah,
I, to be honest, Instagram and all social media are just full of that stuff. And it's
yes,
sometimes like I'm puking, when I see it. Like,
yeah,
no, man, I
yeah,
can't just keep on looking by sight all the time, and
no,
then just keep on smiling. So
no.
then, what you mentioned about your journey, about like going back to your core, like who you truly are. So how has it been for you, like your journey to where you are at this moment, and where you became, or when you got to know that, yeah, it is me, I'm on the right path.
Yeah, in life in general, you mean?
Yeah, in life
Yeah,
in
yeah,
general, of course, I'm happy to hear about your DJ school
yeah,
adventure, and I think people will be very interested to know as well. Just start
yeah.
whatever you want to, and then let's go from there.
Okay, so I was born. No, no, I won't start that early. But yes, I think it's interesting because the DJ school is an example of how I stayed close to myself. I started off DJing, which was a very, I tell this story as inspiration to students or anyone that is about to want to change his or her life. I think it was very important for me to have support in the direction you want to go. And I didn't get like a great support in a way that, yeah, you have to become a DJ. Like my parents were the first source of influence, of course. And but what was a key moment for me was that I was studying child psychology, and I was almost finished. I only had to write the paper stuff, but I was not motivated. It was like I can't do this. I'm not motivated. I'm not good at doing things that I'm not motivated for. So also in school, I just went through it like, what do I have to get to the new next class?
Yeah.
But I was never intrinsically motivated. So for me to feel when I got in contact with the DJing profession that I felt something deep within that was like, wow, I think I want to do this. It wasn't like anything I thought about, it was something I felt. And I think that is key. I just felt that this was the place I would want to be. And if I thought about it, it was logical because I was busy with music starting from age 6, playing the piano, then like doing a lot of musical education as well. But then I thought, yeah, I like dancing, I like socializing, and I like sharing positive energy, and I could combine those in DJ. Now that's the theoretical part, but the
Yeah.
practical part was I was just really motivated to want to do it. And that's when I started doing it, which was really simple, just starting off collecting music from my brother's collection because he had a lot of music and I didn't. So I was like, I'll rip your collection and get all the dance music I like from it because I need that because you still needed music to be able to be a DJ. Nowadays you can get a lot of stuff online, but then you actually had to get the CDs and the
Oh
records.
wow, that wasn't a hard and quite a
Yeah,
time-consuming part, right?
yes, yes, but
Wow.
that the DJ profession, I'm gonna sound really old right now, but the DJ profession was going out to record shops, searching for that one song in the hundreds of records you would put on and play and listen
Yeah.
to, and then really feeling the enthusiasm, like, oh damn, this is gonna make my dance floor go berserk, and then
Uh-huh.
collecting those records, 10, 20 euros a song. I mean,
Oh,
sometimes I hear people
painful.
complain, yeah. Now my students complain about €1.50. It's like, can I get an illegal download? No, no, man, just buy it for €1.50. It's no problem. But then the days, that was the effort you had to invest. But again, I was intrinsically motivated to do so. So it was not hard to do so. But key moment was for me to drop out of my study and say I'm gonna quit. And then my girlfriend said, "Yeah, you have to tell your parents, man. You're already doing nothing for 2 years, so you have to tell them the real deal. Like you're not gonna do it." And I was really afraid because, of course, I was like, they're gonna get angry. And I said, I'm not gonna finish my study. And then my dad just said, and I still remember it to this day. He just said, "Okay." And I was like,
Oh.
is that it? Is that it? No. So again, that's not the key into me becoming a DJ, but it was the roots of where it started to become something that was possible. Because stopping one thing, and that's also what I say to a lot of people, it's not so much about starting things, it's also about stopping what you are doing right now.
Yeah, making closures
Yeah,
to
and I made
leaving
closure,
behind.
which opened up a window for me to do horrible jobs because I had to get some money. So I was a lot of things where people told me, "What are you doing here? I mean, it's not a kind of job for you, right?" Yeah, yeah, I have to get the money, man. No problem. And I didn't
Wow.
complain about that. But then the DJing became a bigger part where I started earning money, more money, until I could drop all the other stuff. And then from that point, I was a DJ. But I did find it hard to tell my environment because, and I think a lot of people have to cope with that, is that you have some kind of like self value that is important to let the world know that you're of any purpose. Like I'm a student, and if I say I'm a student child psychology that went well at birthday parties, you know. But DJing was still something that you did to pick up girls in a dark corner of a party. So I was very much ashamed to tell people that
Oh
I
yeah.
was a DJ in that day, but I did. And then as soon as I started feeling more confident about I'm really good at this, I do it for a lot of money, a lot of times a week. I
Mm,
started to express myself more powerfully about this, and my wife still makes that joke at every party and every person I meet is that don't ask him what he's doing, because we're going to talk only about his job, you know, because it's interesting. People like to know what I do because it's, oh, you're DJ, or oh, you have a DJ school, and then the rest of the conversation is about that. But
mm-hmm.
what it says is that I'm very proud of what I do because it's who I am.
Yeah.
And just to elaborate a little bit on that, I think if you find something that suits you, that will make your confidence and your whole personality
Mm,
grow in a great way, as I see with my students. But it's also really important to choose something that you actually can contribute something with. And I really was happy doing DJing because you make your dance floor happy. And now
mm-hmm.
I'm really happy being a coach where I can make my students happy. And I
Yeah.
think that's also essential to make you
Yeah.
feel good about yourself.
You make an impact and you see the change or you see
Yes,
difference, right? Yeah,
yes, yes,
immediately.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Oh wow. Oh, what touched my heart is that you were a little bit insecure when saying it in the beginning, but then once you felt it inside of you, people felt it too,
Yeah,
right? So the
yeah,
energy is immediately changing, so
yeah,
they already see you how you want to be seen, right? But you
yes,
have to start believing first, and
yeah.
I've seen it so many times, right? That we either or we are afraid of our dreams. We are afraid of talking big or of
Hmm.
thinking big. But then as soon as
Hmm.
you get the courage, then word just follows us, and then
Yeah.
that's it, right?
My wife had a book that is called "The Universe Has Got Your Back," and what
Mm,
it means is really don't be a you don't what it teaches you is not to be afraid anymore. And
mm-hmm.
fear limits your possibilities because you think of things that are new or as I cannot do it or I cannot do it yet, and they withhold you from making these changes that can lead you to
Yeah,
yourself. But as soon as you start witnessing what happens if you do make these changes, it makes you fearless because it feels like I can do anything. If I put effort into it, I mean, I cannot do it tomorrow, but I might
yeah,
be able to later on. And that's also what I tell my students. It's little steps you make, but you have to start making the first one. And that's why I always congratulate every new student with the choice to come with me and start that
mm,
journey because it starts with that one first baby step.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh wow, amazing. So then I'm curious, like, so you were a DJ, you became successful in the music scene, and then when and how did it all come to the fact that now you say, okay, now I want to have other DJs, I want to help
Yeah,
other DJs to become one. And
yeah.
then, I know that you have, because I followed the classes and I was one of your students, I have to admit, of course. But then,
Hmm.
following your beautiful methodology, right? Those four P's,
Yeah, yeah, the
right?
big four. Yeah.
The big four, etc. So, how did all come to the fruition?
Yeah, well, also little steps. Like I
Mm,
remember very clearly, it seems not so long ago, but it's already 12 years ago that me and my brother started the DJ school. And it was really a logical order of growing into who you are. I
mm,
mean, if it's all right, you keep developing your whole life. And we developed from being DJs, like we did that for 10 years, and it started to flatten out a little bit. It was like it's still fun, but
mm-hmm.
I think you know right now that if you do your first performance, it's like nothing you ever experienced. It's like the
Yeah,
big thrill, like is this really happening? And of course, if you do that for 10 years, that starts like flattening a little bit. It was still, if we had a great party, we would be like, yeah, we did it again, but it's not the same. And
mm,
what we did experience is that if I still remember one event where we were booked and we were asked to give a workshop in advance. So we were booked to play, but then they asked, can you tell the people, because we met them earlier that day,
mm-hmm.
uh, could you tell them something about the DJ profession or maybe show them at the DJ
Ah,
booth?
yeah,
And what we noticed that we found it so much fun to do that, and the people responded likewise, like they were like, "Oh, this is cool, fun," and we was like, "Oh, damn, this is something we like." And my mother has been a teacher all her life, and our friends know us very well. So we talked to friends about this development, and they said, I remember one friend saying, "Yeah, should we do something with this?" was our question. They said, "Yeah, totally, man. You guys this is who you are. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely go this direction. Put it on your website. And
Yeah,
that's what
yes,
we
all it
did.
takes.
That's
Yeah.
all it takes, yeah. And we put it on the website, and it's also a bit maybe it's lucky, but again, it's also I think luck is something you can force if you take the right steps and directions. But then people started calling us straight away, and it was just a DJing website. It was just bookable DJs as we were, and then we just posted, yeah, we also do workshops, and like the next day, people started calling us.
I got thrills. Yes.
Yeah, but it was lucky in the sense that like Chesto was on his high right then, and people
Mm-hmm.
started like, what the hell is he doing? This guy, he's playing a stadium, or what is he doing? Nobody
Mm-hmm.
knew what DJing really was.
Yeah.
So the interest in that profession started to grow rapidly, and that's where we started. There was no other DJ school, so of course people were maybe Googling it, and then it was like DJ workshop. Oh, let's call them. And so we started off in a room in the Volkskrant building
Ah.
in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
It was just an office, but we just put a DJ set there, and people came in at the first. I remember the first clients. I know who they are still. That said, afterwards, after the course, they were like, "Yeah, it was so much fun." But yeah, I have to say, I was a little bit shocked because we came in. It was just an office space with a DJ booth. But then the lessons were so great that no problem. But it just reminds you of how you start real small, and from there on, we kept on building, moved to another building. Now we're in the third building, like growing, growing, growing as a company does if you just do the right things.
Mm-hmm.
About the mythology, also I think it's essential that you look at your customers to know what you have to do. And what we noticed in the beginning is that the people that we had, we were also, like, it was very exciting for us, but also a little like, what do we have to do with these people? They come in, they pay money. Now we have to teach them to be a DJ. How? I mean, nobody told us how to. There's no study for that. So, what
Mm-hmm.
do we teach them? And in the beginning, we were really scared to like talk to the persons too long because it was like, no, you have to be behind the decks, that's your lesson. And we taught them how to mix, and they did fine. But then when we heard them play live, it was horrible because they made so many mistakes, not in the technical area, but in all other areas where DJing
Mm-hmm.
should be done. And that's how we developed our method, looking at, okay, let's look at ourselves and other professionals. Or what does a professional really do? And that's how we developed the Big Four method as to, okay, the tracks you play are the most important. The interaction with the audience is the second most important. Then
Mm-hmm.
your technique is important. And then later on, because we had like three pillars in the beginning, we had a fourth, which was more about how do you express yourself behind the DJ booth, so the energy you send out.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one thing that was missing, and that was the one thing that missed in our DJ career ourselves, which was entrepreneurship. So we added that later on, and nowadays we tend to tell students that that might be the most important one because to actually get somewhere, you need to be an entrepreneur and do everything that is included in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Where we weren't as good at that as we were as spinning. So we could have been Chesto. Let's say we had the potential to be better than Chesto in DJing wise,
Mm-hmm.
but we were not even at like 1% of his entrepreneurship. So that's something you learn about yourself, and you can actually teach your students to do that better than we could ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how the method developed.
Okay, yeah. Oh, fantastic. Very inspiring. So then I think it's a beautiful bridge to then the leadership because I think it is all connected, right? The
Yep.
entrepreneurship, coaching, leadership. So how do you relate to it yourself as a person or also as a founder of DJ School?
Yeah, well, I think leadership, what really inspired me at a certain time is that I discovered the Simon Sinek method of why, how, what. And
Mm-hmm.
that was really something that we already did. And just to explain a little bit, I think it's very much about knowing why you are doing what you are doing. And as I said earlier, for us, the essence is sharing positive energy. And how do we do it? Using music as our tool, because that's how we actually connect with the people and we can actually
Yeah.
lure them how to express their positive energy. And then what do we do? We actually teach DJing and producing as what we do in our classes. But I think the whole leadership part is about finding out what you are as a person and let the company be that expression of who you are. So it's not like I'm selling this, it's just selling. No, I'm selling myself. And that's what people started telling us. It's not, why were people so enthusiastic about the DJ school? It was not so much the DJ profession. Of course, it was as well, but it also was the interaction with us. So as I said in the beginning, we were just talking about the mixing part, and now I can just talk, as you know, I think, I can just talk more to a student than we actually are behind the booth. And is
Yeah.
that bad thing? No, it's a good thing because people learn more from that in a human perspective, but also as a DJ, then I would just be talking about the technical side of DJing.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we try to drive the DJ school.
Yeah, I can share you my experience. And actually, I love the talks more. Of course, you cannot go without the technical side, but then in the end, to connect the dots, or for me to like kind of visualize in my head,
Hmm.
then in the end, get your experience or get your feedback, from some of your stories or your examples and this and this and this. Then like it's just gives a different like same thing. Like you can learn theory or you can apply theory into
Yeah,
practice, or you
yeah,
can learn by just fuck ups
yeah,
and trial and errors,
yeah,
right? So then it's
yeah,
and then your beautiful booth, your studio, etc. And then just yeah, I think just a human to human interaction. Okay, there's of course a mentor and a student,
hmm,
but in the end, we are all in it in experience together, and that's
yes,
what I value the most. That it's more of
yeah.
a
Oh, that's nice
just
to hear.
like a mutual conversation than just top down
Yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think also if we tell our students what can you expect from us, then I always say our goal is to let you leave with more inspiration and positive energy than you came in with. And this can be really extreme. I mean, we had suicidal students that actually were on the train rails that same morning, but still thought, yeah, but I like the lesson DJ school. Let's do that first. Like, I mean, literally.
Wow.
And we had a lot of people like that, any kind of circumstance where you can actually help them in their life in a more profound way than, as you say, just doing the material, whatever stuff, but also like this becoming soulmates and really sharing something significant. And I still think that drives us to this day to have that kind of connection to anyone that comes in, because that will make you feel happy about what you actually accomplish with someone,
Yeah.
and it makes me happy and it makes you happy. So I think that really makes you feel good about yourself. Because now I'm more of a director because my lessons are limited, so I give about 6, 7 lessons a week. But I do get the most energy out of that. Even though the what I teach is not interesting for me anymore. I mean, I know what I'm going to say. I know exactly where a student is and what their
Yeah.
next steps are going to be. It's not challenging for me, but it's still very much fun. And
Yeah.
that's the human factor.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels more complete or more fulfilling,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you
Talking
really
about the
contributed.
flatness in the last
Yeah,
months, right?
yeah, yeah. But that is essential for me also in this period to have still this interaction where you cannot interact that much with others. My lessons really help me because
Yeah.
I'm like excited again after that.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. I think it's one of the lucky moments like when you realize that like what you do is actually, helping you, making you happy and others happy, and then bringing the purpose into your life. So I think it's
Yeah,
a super amazing position to be in, right?
yeah, but I also think it's my mission. And sometimes I think that's a big word. Like, what's your mission in life? What are you going to contribute? But I think for me, what I learned from is that actually contributing means that you have something you can give where others can use it. And for me, I was always born with this positive kind of energy and problem solving skill. Like if you give me a problem, I go on. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to fix it, So
Yeah.
that helps. But then seeing that you can actually contribute in a way that you help other human beings, I think you can always judge what you are doing based on how much is that the case. So to give your own life like a number from ranging from 1 to 10, I think a lot of that depends on what you can contribute.
Yeah.
And if you can't contribute, it's been measured that 70% of the people do jobs where they actually feel they do not contribute. And that's what makes them feel useless. And I
Yeah.
also experienced that in the school. Like a lot of people come in that have very decent or high level jobs, big incomes, and still they are very emotional when you experience the thrill of I can really get my feelings into this. It's music. I mean, that
Yeah.
is all about feelings, and I can express myself. And then imagining they can also like influence others with that is such a big part of being happy that they start crying because it's like, yeah, I knew I wanted to do this when I was 20, but now I'm 40 and I'm rich, but I'm not happy. And now I still discovered that this is what I should have done. So
Yeah.
if I that's also my focus in coaching in a more personal level is that it's called positive perspective. It's like offering that perspective to people and really digging into who are you and what do you intrinsically in. I think that's a really hard word to say.
Yeah,
What,
thanks.
what do you want to do with your life if you look within yourself? That's the essence of what I try to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I think what's coming out of the stories, I think, is the fear, right, or any other like limitations that we have on yourself. So maybe Ron, if you can share with us, with me, like I recently heard this question, and it just touched me so much. Like, if you weren't afraid, what you would do now, or what would you have done
Hmm.
differently before, if
Hmm.
any?
Yes, yeah, essential question.
Yeah.
Also, if you take it in the retrospect to
Mm.
look at your own life and see what chances did you miss, because it can really make your life feel like full of regret. And I do feel regret because I know which chances I missed. So, for instance, I know it's also circumstantial, some of it, but I really like playing soccer and I was good at it. But I also was like mentally vulnerable. And when I was in puberty, I started soccer pretty late, but I, I did one training. I was set to the first team straight away, but then
Okay.
you get in touch with others that are more competitive, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" And you're a threat to me. And I was like 13, so you're in puberty and you're very insecure,
Mm.
and that really I'm a sensitive person. So if somebody says something nasty, it's not like I don't give a shit. Maybe now, but not then. So it took away the chance for me because I backed out of it to actually do what I love to do. And if I
Okay.
look back at my life, that's one of the things I regret. In other perspectives, I did come to the place where I wanted to be at. But now, if I look around, I still see a lot of fear where I recognize it really quickly if people say, certainly if I talk about my job, others tend to tell me their dreams because it's like, oh, that's great, man. Oh, yeah, I also wanted to start at a restaurant. Yeah, yeah, but
Ah.
uh, yeah, I can't. And then it's like, what? I always say, well, why can't you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I have this job, and yeah, if I quit, I have no money, and it's like looking at the impossibilities instead of the possibilities, and I think that's a way of thinking. That's really glass half full, glass half empty, and I really try to motivate people around me to look at it always as glass half full, because the
Yeah.
options are there, and it's not about the options or the reality of what you can do. It's about your belief in the prospects of being able to take that journey. But as again, I try to motivate people to take it in very small steps. If you are about DJ, you like DJing, and you might dream about, and also I stimulate the dreaming. Like if students come in, I tell them, what would you like to become? I mean, what do you want to do with this course? And they tell me really humble, like, yeah, it's not like I want to become a professional. It's just fun. And then I tell them, yeah, that's fine, okay. But if I would tell you that you were on this big stage 2 years from now, would you say, no, 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 that's not for me? And they also, yes, yes, I would like to do that. Yeah, okay, okay. So let's take that as a starting point. And it's all about that dream, like you said in the beginning. It's about believing in that it's not going to be a dream, but being real in how to get there means you're going to have to struggle for years, maybe putting in those 10,000 whatever hours to be able to reach that level. But if you start with 1 hour a day and another, and you seek coaching around you where you actually know how to invest this time, you
Yeah.
will go up with these small, compared to a staircase, small steps where you don't see the outside until you reach the top of the
Yeah.
building. You look over and you're, damn, I'm there. You didn't notice it because you were on the journey, which is more fun than reaching the goal, I can say, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
If you're there, it's like something that might seem unachievable when you're all the way down. But if you take these small steps, they add up.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And then maybe Ron, how are those experiences in your career life? But I guess in your case, it's also your passion and your part of your life. Do you see any commonalities in your private life, or how can you use those experiences or those lessons or those learnings to your own, me, Roland, or me, my family, or me, my
Hmm.
surroundings?
Well, essential for me is if I look at my wife as well, she's more conservative than I am. So she, but I did get her as far as to start her own company, which she stopped again because she felt that life wasn't for her. Like you have to also live with the insecurity of, okay, how many jobs am I going to get? And so now she's back doing like a regular job again, but I still feel that's what I should do. And with my children, I think the essence is giving them self-confidence. I think that's key. That word is the essence of being able to living the life that we can talk about. And yeah, you have to think of possibilities. If you don't have self-confidence, that's never going to happen. So I'm very like that word is key for me, and to actually give my kids confidence about who they are and what they might achieve, not like spoiling them. Like, yeah, I'm going to make sure you're going to do everything you want and give you. I mean, they're spoiled already if I compare to my youth. They have everything they need and more, too much. But again, okay, that's a time thing. But what I try to give them is a sense of you are great as you are. And if you want to achieve something, of course, they say, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. No, you can't do it. That's because you haven't tried. And you're going to fail. And failing, that's, I tell my students, but I tell my kids as well, failing is a part of learning. So you have to start failing. So failure is not a bad word. I mean, it has a very negative side to it. So it's more, I think you should call it trying. Trial, you said it yourself, trial and error. And doing that in a direction where I try to look at them and analyze who are they. I mean, I see my oldest daughter really loves singing, and she's actually really good at it. And I'm objective. No, I'm not objective, but I think she really can sing. But she doesn't dare to. So I have to find a way to actually make her comfortable with singing for other people. But I try to stimulate her in that area and not say like your school is important and yeah, you have to get high grades. I mean, she has to get the grades or else you won't get any education. But I really try to be pretty very normal about that area of life because I have a lot of comments on schools and
Oh, yeah.
how they are done. But okay, I can do my part in stimulating her to be able to express herself in the areas where I see that she flicks on. Like, oh, hey, I see that she's motivated. I see she likes this. And my other daughter likes movies. She's like me. She's always you can't see that right now, but if you were had to have cameras as listeners, you would see me moving all around all the time. So my youngest daughter is like that as well. So she's doing dancing right now because I see that that's something she loves to do. So trying to seek out and see who the people around you are. Also with friends. I have a friend that has a very hard time choosing what he likes to do. So he keeps up doing jobs where important for him is to have his iPhone and his Tesla. Okay, that might be fine, but he's very unhappy with the jobs. So I look at him and say, "You like audio, right? I know you like audio. You should work at an audio company like Sonos or whatever." And that does help because now, actually, years later, he's actually trying to make that transition. Uh, but yeah, so in my private life, I actually do the exact same thing as I do
Yeah.
in the DJ school.
And yeah, so then you're saying you're a coach to others, and who is a coach to you, or where do you get the coaching from? People,
Yeah,
from energies, from your experience? Like, who is the one who you
yeah,
can come to when you feel low, or you when you feel a little bit,
yeah. Well, firstly,
a little
my
bit less
wife.
confident?
My
Okay,
wife,
yeah.
my dad once told me when I was like a little bit in an on-off relationship with her, I had a commitment fear, you might call that, or something, like all guys have. No, but yeah, might have been a bit early for me to like. I was also from another relationship, etc., etc. Too much to talk about right now. But what she was to me was that I heard through my mother that my dad told me, you know, he thinks she is your anchor. And that was just after my dad passed away, because he passed away too early. But okay,
Okay,
shit happens.
sorry.
But then my
Yeah.
mother told me that, and that was just at the moment where I felt, what am I gonna do relationship wise, and it really made me make that choice where she's so important for me as to fulfill that need I have to develop, because I need someone to look up to and to really listen to that I respect, that actually can say things about me that I might not see, that are my own blind spots. And
Or you
that's
might
what's,
not be courageous enough to say it up,
yeah,
out loud to yourself, right?
yeah, no, but
Yeah.
it's very hard to see your own. I mean, it's easy
Yeah.
to talk about others, but
Yeah.
it's very hard to actually conclude that, for instance, I broke up with her a couple of years in the fall. And at first I was convinced that it was has to do with her. You know, yeah, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. And then she started telling me, look, you break up every fall. You just have your winter dip. I know you're going to break up with me because that's who you are. You know, if the fall starts entering, you are not going to be that positive anymore. I was like, damn, might be right.
Oh wow, so wise.
So that's
Yeah.
just one of the examples. And so there are
Mm,
so many that I can tell you about that she has a key role. Also, still today, making my choices with the DJ school, so which direction.
yeah.
And she's highly sensitive, so that has downsides as well. But again, it has a lot of upsides where she is very great at analyzing what I am about, like emotionally and what is
Yeah,
happening.
energy and feeling. Yeah, yeah, I understand
Yeah,
completely.
and that really helps me. And then I have friends, of course. I have my brother. I have others that I consult. I have had people in the past that were like second fathers to me, like my football coach was a very wise philosophical man.
Oh,
My dad, who was very philosophical, so very strong opinions about everything, basically. But that can be hard as well. But very much also about what is life about. So like taking in the big picture of what choices do you make in your life to get most out of it, because
mm-hmm.
it's short and it needs to be well lived, because we have no other reason uh, to do otherwise, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's no bigger thing unless you believe so. But if you don't believe so, you have to like make the best of it right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yes.
oh, oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Super. I
Yeah,
think it's
you're
indeed,
welcome.
and the yeah, the power of network, right? Or the support network,
Yes,
however you call it, right? Those mini tribes that we all kind of connected and help each other,
yeah,
both ways, right? It's not
essential,
one way.
essential.
Yeah,
Also, if you
yeah.
don't have it, it's very hard to be confident and solid in the choices you make and the directions you
Mm,
go.
yeah. I'm always curious, like, okay, like, because you mentioned your daughter, she's still struggling to, to be confident to sing out loud. Like, why is our human being structure so like fragile that we just
Hmm.
can't feel confident already, and
Yeah,
all the time?
some
I
people
think it's
do, but they're exceptions, I think.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's because we are so socially sensitive. So
Mm,
we are so looking for acceptance and
yeah,
being
approval.
recognized,
Yeah.
and we are so sensitive to rejection that it's, if there's something we are most scared of, it's rejection and
Mm-hmm.
negative input. So if you sing and you feel naked because it's all you, so if somebody would say it's off key, it's bad, it will destroy you because it's all
Yeah.
about you. I mean, if you say you are Roland, you're a really bad coach, that can really have an impact if
Mm-hmm.
I take you seriously, because it's me, you know. Just like I would say, yeah, you're ugly or you're stupid. It makes an impact if you think that is could be true. So we're so socially sensitive that we're very much about, yeah, can I express myself here safely? And that's something that needs to grow as you can take these baby steps. And then as long as you get positive feedback, I, I personally, I'm always looking for positive feedback. So I'm a sensitive person, and I like you to like me. It's important for me that you like me because that gives me a good feeling about myself. And I see others that are much more like, I don't need that confirmation. It's just who I am. I do the things I do, and you might like it, you might not like it. I'm not like that. So I need you to like what I do, or else I
Yeah.
will feel not confident. And I think it's also about that part of knowing who you are yourself.
Yeah, your self
But
awareness.
yeah, but I
What
think,
helps you and what's
yeah,
yeah, what you
but
need.
as you say, it's still very sensitive to express yourself. And as soon as you can, it's hard for me to imagine others can't in certain areas. So
Mm.
might seem for me as easy, I get confronted with it every day because I walk my children to school and I tend to want to sing. I'm not a great singer, but I'm not a really bad singer. But my
Uh-huh.
children tell me every second somebody shows up or I'm outside, they say, shut up, Dad, shut the fuck up. And why do
Oh.
they tell me? Because they might feel ashamed if other
Mm-hmm.
people hear me sing. As I'm okay with that. I mean, others can hear me sing off key. That's okay. I think people might like it if I sing because it shows that I'm happy, you know. But
Yeah,
they are like, no, no, we don't want to
exactly.
get noticed. We don't want you to
I'm
sing.
not.
Like the person, I will tell them, you know, like,
Yeah,
hey, I like this about you. I like that about you. And it's amazing what kind of impact that has.
yeah. And
So,
doesn't cost anything, right?
yeah.
And it's yeah.
But it doesn't
Oh.
happen that often. A lot of people feel that way. It's like, oh, I admire you, man. But they tell you years later in a drunk more than, yeah, man, I really love you,
And
man.
then they are ashamed after they get
Yeah,
sober that they said it,
why?
right?
It's not even
Yeah.
about you.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not ashamed anymore. Also with approaching women or anyone to tell them, hey, I really like you, man, and they will get red in the face, not me, because they are like, whew, what's happening? I just
Yeah.
said it.
But then they will remember it for the rest of their life, and maybe they will also say it next time
Yeah,
somewhere else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh,
But
I
it's
love
easy
such a.
to make that kind of impact, but you have to start doing it and not feel too much about yourself. I started doing it because I started feeling it's about you. It doesn't say anything about me. I mean, of course, I'm the one saying it, but how can it be bad for me to say something positive about someone else?
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
so
it doesn't
beautiful.
get bad because people always like positive input, but I don't get it that much. I also tell in workshops where I'm with companies, I tell them, listen, a DJ is such a great profession because you get positive feedback from a lot of people in a very expressive way. That makes it such a great job. But how much positive feedback do you receive in a year when you work? You'd be happy to have your, well, boss or anyone, colleague saying positive things a couple of times a year, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should do that more often.
Yeah. It's never too much,
No,
right?
no.
Wow. Oh, that's a beautiful ending, I think, Roland. I think it's a beautiful, like, kind of a closure, on a
Mm-hmm.
happy note, but on a happy, I think, authentic, genuine note,
Mm-hmm.
that it's never enough, or it's never enough and never too much of this optimism or positivity, even if it's heavy and intense.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would like to close off? Is there anything that your heart still says you want to share?
Um,
Um,
I think I said a lot already, but no, I think the essence is what I want to give people is the possibility of making yourself and others happy is not that far away. It's not that hard to start doing the things that you love and that you're going to make others happy with. I think that would be my central message. It's in just like we talked about it just now, smiling, making positive remarks about someone, joining people that you like and in what they do and something that inspires you, taking baby steps in that area. That makes it more achievable. It's not like, oh yeah, but that guy has everything. No, it's you can get that as well if that's what you want. If you take these little steps and start that journey without, well, being fearless. There's nothing to fear about. That's my last note. Uh, the reality is never as frightening as the fears you might have.
hmm.
Let's end on that note.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, they are bigger in your head than they are in
Yes, even
reality.
the worst things you can imagine, if they happen to you and they happen to me, they're like, oh, this is just stuff happening, you know, and it's not something. If I dream about it, it's worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, whoa, I get thrills. And I think it's another reminder for me that I just love this podcast and I love just
Yeah,
to, invite people over just to at least even for me, get nourished with
well, I
the
like that you
beautiful.
do this. I think it's also
Yeah,
expression of who you are, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah,
And it's just like, oh, I had a quite a heavy or low morning, but then I said, okay, it's not so heavy anymore. So thank you so much,
yeah.
Roland, for
Thank you
that.
as well, because I feel better right now than I did before we started.
Oh.
So that's what we contributed.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. It goes both
great
ways.
job.
Super. So thank you so much,
You're
Roland.
welcome.
Super nice to see you, and then good luck with your next stages of your DJ school.
Thank you.
Professionally and privately. And I hope we will be able to see each other again. On a scene, on a dance floor with
Yes, that would be great.
crowds and beautiful music and sound system and
We
all
will.
the
We will.
stuff. Yeah.
We for sure.
Super. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.